Hello everyone, myself Dr. Rajesh S. Badigar, working as an assistant professor in the Department of Chemistry, JSS Arts, Science and Commerce College, Gokak, which is affiliated to Rani Chennamma University, Belagavi. Well, in the last video, I have discussed about the crystal field stabilization energy in case of tetrahedral complexes by taking a particular examples. Okay. In this video, I will explain about the crystal field theory with reference to square planar complex. So that means when the ligand arrangement around the center metal ion in a square planar fashion, how the 5d orbitals are going to split into different sets of orbitals. It is entirely different when compared to the tetrahedral arrangement of ligands. So that means the crystal field splitting in case of tetrahedral arrangement of ligands around the center metal ion is exactly or entirely it is different when compared to the square planar arrangement of ligands. So in case of both tetrahedral and square planar complexes, the number of ligands are 4 only, but the splitting pattern is different. So in this video, I will explain how the 5d orbitals are going to split into different sets of orbitals when the ligand arrangement around the center metal ion is in a square planar fashion. Let us see that one. Yes, before going with respect to crystal field theory with reference to square planar complex, that means how the 5d orbitals are going to split into different sets of orbitals, it becomes necessary to know how the square planar arrangement of ligands around the center metal ion can be obtained. Okay, so this can be, that means the square planar arrangement around the center metal ion can be derived or it can be obtained from the octahedral arrangement of ligand, that means from the octahedral structure of the ligands. So for example, if you take this one, here the octahedral structure consists of 6 ligands, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and then 6. Okay, if I remove these 2 ligands, which we call this one as a trans ligands, translocated ligands, that means which are located along the z-axis. So if I remove these 2 ligands, we will end up with only 4 ligands in square planar fashion. So that is the meaning here. So that means if I remove these 2 Z ligands, see in case of octahedral complexes, the number of ligands, approaching ligands are 6 in x, y and z axis, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. If I remove these 2 ligands, then the only 4 ligands will be remained and those 4 ligands will look like this one. So that means if I remove the 2 trans ligands, these 2 are the trans ligands, if I remove these 2 ligands, it looks like this one. That means the resulting arrangement will be the square planar arrangement. So that means it looks like this one. Just see. Okay. If it is x axis, if it is y axis, it is z. If x and y, minus x and minus y, there is no z axis ligands here. So that means only 4 ligands are present. 1, 2, 3 and 4. Okay, so that means the square planar arrangement of ligands around the center metal ion can be derived, okay, can be derived from the octahedral arrangement of ligands just by removing the 2 trans ligands which are located along the z axis. Okay, so thus obtained arrangement itself is the square planar arrangement. Okay, so this is how we are going to get the first square planar arrangement of ligands around the center metal ion. In exam, if they ask you to write the crystal field theory with reference to square planar complexes, so we have to write this figure number 1. Okay, so let us start this one. Square planar arrangement of ligands can be derived from the octahedral arrangement of ligands. That means from octahedral arrangement ligand, we can derive the square planar arrangement of ligands. How? Just by removing the 2 trans ligands located along the z-axis. These 2 are the z-axis ligands which are also known as trans ligands. We call this one as a trans ligand. If I remove these 2 ligands, I will end up with only 4 ligands, that too in square planar complex. So that is why what we are going to write, square planar arrangement of ligands can be derived from the octahedral arrangement of ligands just by removing 2 trans ligands located along the z-axis. If this is the case, then only 4 ligands will be remained and those 4 ligands are approaching the center metal ion in x and y direction only. So that means if you remove the z-axis ligands, only ligands which are coming in xy plane will come. So that means only thus obtained structure is as shown in the figure 1. In square planar complex, or in square planar field, ligand field, the ligands are approaching the center metal ion in xy plane only, because one ligand is from x axis, another ligand is from y axis, another one is minus x, and another one is coming from the minus y. That means only 4 ligands are approaching, that too only in xy plane. There is no ligand along the z axis. Okay. Therefore, the question comes, therefore, the d orbital lobes which are present in xy plane. So that means the d orbital lobes which are present in xy plane will experience more repulsion, and hence their energy increases more when compared to the other d orbitals. Okay. Already we know that the center metal ion consists of 5 d orbitals, dxy, dyz, dxz, dx square minus y square, and dz square. So there are 5 degenerate d orbitals are present in the center metal ion before complex formation. So in case of square planar complex, what is happening here? So the ligands are approaching, only 4 ligands are there, that too they are approaching towards the center metal ion in xy plane only. So there is no z-axis ligands. So that means along z-axis there is no ligand field, there is no negative field approaching the center metal ion. Only in xy plane only the negative field, that means ligand field is approaching the center metal ion. Okay. So in such case, the d orbitals which are present in the center metal ion, whose lobes are present in xy plane, those d orbitals will experience more repulsion from these 4 ligands, because ligands are also coming in xy plane only, and the d orbital lobes which are present in xy plane will experience more repulsion, obviously, and hence their energy increases when compared to other d orbitals. Now the question comes, what are those d orbitals whose lobes are present along the, or whose lobes are present in the xy plane? If we know that one, definitely we will come to know the how the crystal field splitting will takes place in case of square planar complexes. Now further, it should be noted here that since the square planar arrangement of ligands can be derived from the octahedral arrangement of ligands, therefore the crystal field splitting in case of square planar complex can be drawn from the crystal field splitting diagram of the octahedral complex. That means if you want to show the how the 5d orbitals are going to split in square planar complex, we have to first consider the crystal field splitting in case of octahedral complexes. From octahedral complex only we have derived the square planar complex. So that is why we have to first consider the octahedral arrangement, or that means octahedral crystal field splitting, that is T2G EG set. From this onwards we can know which orbital is going to split more in case of square planar complexes. So, okay. So let us see what are those d orbitals whose lobes are coming in xy plane only. Yes, from the shapes and orientation of d orbitals, it is very clear that the 5 degenerate d orbitals are grouped into 2 sets of orbitals. One is a T2G set, another one is EG set. Here the T2G set consists of 3 orbitals, that is dxy, dyz and dxz orbital, whereas EG set of orbital consists of 2 orbitals. One is a dz square orbital, another one is dx square minus y square orbital. Further, from the shapes and orientation study, it is very clear that the lobes of the T2G orbitals are exactly in between the axes. For example, if you consider the x, y, z axis, the lobes of the orbitals, T2G orbitals are exactly coming in between the axes. So that means if you consider the structure of, or for example if I take this one here, if it is x axis, it is y axis, then it will become minus x axis and it is minus y axis. The T2G orbital lobes will come exactly here in between the axis. That means T2G orbital lobes will come here, either it's a dxy or dyz or dxz. Always the T2G orbital lobes will come in between the axis, whereas the EG orbital lobes are exactly lying along the axis. Okay, if you consider the EG orbital, though the lobes will exactly come along this axis. So that means this axis, the line is there, this one, this axis along the lobes of the EG orbital. For example, if you consider dx square minus y square orbital, its lobe will come exactly along the x axis and y axis. Okay. Okay. Similarly, the dz square orbital which I have shown here, so the dz square orbital will come exactly in the z direction, that is also along the z axis only. So therefore, from the shapes and orientation of d orbitals, it is very clear that the T2G orbital lobes will come exactly in between the x-axis and y-axis and z-axis, that means in between the two axes. That means if any electron density is there, that means in T2g orbitals the electron density will be in between the two axes. Whereas in case of EG orbital, since their lobes are exactly lying along the axis, therefore if any electron is there, therefore with respect to EG orbital the electron density will be always along the axis. Now from this fact it is very clear that from dxy orbital, so that this one, so dxy orbital from the T2g set and dx square minus orbital from the EG set, the lobes are coming in xy plane. So that means the lobes of the dx square minus y square from EG set and dxy orbital from the T2g set of orbital, the lobes will come in xy plane. So that means, for example, if you consider here the structure I have shown here, so if you consider the dxy orbital, so lobes are coming in x and y axis, in between the two axes. That means the lobes of dxy orbital is in a xy plane. Similarly, if you consider the dx square minus y square orbital, its lobes are exactly present along the x-axis and y-axis. Therefore, the dx square minus y square orbital lobe will come in xy plane. Okay. Okay. So now, since the ligands in square planar complex are approaching the center metal ion in x, y axis only, that means in xy plane only, therefore these two orbits will experience more repulsion from the ligand field when compared to other three orbitals. So that means since these two orbitals lobes are present in xy plane, therefore these orbitals will experience more repulsion from the ligand negative field. Hence these two orbits will experience more repulsion, and hence these two orbital energy increases when compared to other three orbitals. Other three orbitals, what are those three orbitals? dyz and dxz orbital and dz square orbital. Okay. Now the question comes, out of these two orbitals, which orbital energy increases more? Because rise in energy between these two orbitals is not same, because it depends upon the amount of repulsion from the incoming ligand. Here if you observe the lobes of the dx square minus y square and dxy orbital, they are entirely different. In dx square minus y square orbital, lobes are exactly lying along the axis where the ligand is approaching the center metal ion to form the bond, whereas dxy orbital lobes are present in between the axis. So therefore here out of these two orbital, dx square minus y square orbital will experience more repulsion from the ligand field. Therefore its energy, that means dx square minus y square orbital energy increases when compared to dxy orbital. So totally what we came to know from this discussion here, out of 5d orbitals, okay, dxy, dyz, dxz and dz square and dx square minus y square orbital, out of these 5 orbital, so dxy orbital from the T2g set and dx square minus y square from the EG set, these two orbital lobes are present in xy plane. Therefore these two orbital will experience more repulsion from the ligand field. Hence these two orbital energy increases more when compared to other three orbitals. Now further, out of these two orbitals, the dx square minus y square orbital will experience more repulsion from the ligand field, since its lobes are present exactly along the along the x and y axis from where the ligand is approaching towards the center metal ion. Therefore this will experience more repulsion, hence its energy increases when compared to dxy orbital. Okay. Now further, since there is only 4 ligands are approaching the center metal ion here. Okay. Further, it is very clear that there is no ligand along the z axis. Already we know that one. Okay. So due to absence of ligands along the z axis, that means dz square orbital becomes stable, and energy of that orbital, that means dz square orbital becomes lower than that of the dxy orbital. So that means since in X only ligands are coming in X and Y direction, there is no ligand along the Z axis. Therefore, the dz square, there is no question of repulsion of the dz square orbital. So therefore, there is no repulsion means there is no increase in the energy. Therefore, the dz square orbital, since they are absent here, ligands are absent, therefore the dz square orbital energy becomes more stable and it is less than the dxy orbital. So 3 facts we have to remember here while writing the crystal field splitting in case of square planar complexes. One is the 2 orbitals, so that means dx square minus y square and dxy orbital energy increases, its energy will be more. Out of these two, dx square minus y square orbital energy is more when compared to dxy orbital, and the remaining 3 orbitals will be having less energy when compared to these 2 orbitals. Okay. Further, since there is no ligand along the z axis, so therefore dz square orbital energy decreases when compared to dxy orbital. Similarly, the dyz and dxz becomes more stable. Okay. So therefore, by considering, so that means the dyz and dxz orbital will also experience lesser amount of repulsion, therefore their energy also decreases here. Okay. Out of 5 d orbitals, only 2 orbital energy increases in case of square planar complexes, whereas other 3 orbitals are having less energy. Okay. So this fact can be represented in the crystal field splitting. That means the crystal field splitting in case of a square planar complex can be represented as shown in this figure 2. That means if you consider this one as a figure 2, the crystal field splitting in case of square planar complex can be represented as shown in this figure 2. So in order to represent these facts, that means which orbital energy is more, which orbital is energy less, let us see by considering the octahedral crystal field splitting. Already we know that since the square planar complex arrangement of ligands around the center metal ion is derived from the octahedral field, so we have to first consider the crystal field splitting in case of octahedral complex. From that octahedral crystal field splitting, we are going to derive the crystal field splitting in case of square planar complexes. Okay. Now let us see, already from the above discussion it is very clear that the dx square minus y square orbital from the EG orbital, if you consider this one is a dx square minus y square orbital, its energy increases more. So that is why we have shown the increase in its energy. So energy increases. Okay, this is the crystal field splitting in case of octahedral complex, and this is with respect to square planar arrangement of ligands. Okay. Now further what we have studied, the dxy orbital from the T2G orbital set is also increases. So therefore out of 3 orbitals, that means dxy, dyz and dxz orbital, dxy orbital energy increases more here. So that I have shown here. Okay, you can show like this one. So one is dx square minus y square orbital from the EG set, its energy increases. So you have to show that one in higher energy state. So similarly, the dxy orbital from the T2G set will also, the energy of this orbital also increases. Therefore, we have to show in the higher energy state. So that means now since there is no z-axis ligand, that means trans ligands are not present in the square planar complex, therefore the dz square orbital energy decreases when compared to dxy orbitals. So that is why we are going to show that one as a dxy, that means dz square orbital below the dxy orbital. Now further, the dyz and dxz orbital, they also experience very small repulsion, therefore their energy also decreases. That is why we are going to show the other 2 orbitals dxz and yz orbital below the dz square orbital. Here thus the crystal field splitting in case of square planar complex is dx square minus y square orbital energy will be highest, next higher energy level will be the dxy orbital, and then dz square orbital, and then dxz and yz orbital. Here one thing we should remember, or it should be noted that here the degeneracy of the T2G orbital, that means triply degenerate d orbital, triply degenerate orbitals. So we call this one as a T2G orbital, means triply degenerate, that means all the 3 orbitals are having same energy. Here EG orbital means doubly degenerate orbitals, that means these 2 orbitals are having same energy. in case of octahedral complex, but in case of square planar complex, these two degeneracies destroyed. That means the degeneracy of the T2G orbital and EG orbital is lifted. That means we cannot say that the EG orbitals are now degenerate orbitals, because one dx square minus y square orbital energy is more when compared to dz square orbital. Similarly, T2G orbital degeneracy is also lifted or destroyed, because the dxy orbital energy is more when compared to other two dxz and yz orbital. So this is the crystal pill splitting in case of square planar complex. That means in case of square planar complex, since the ligands are coming in xy plane only, so therefore the orbital lobes which are present in xy plane will experience more repulsion, hence their energy increases more. So from the shapes and orientation study, from the shapes and orientation of d orbitals, it is very clear that the dx square minus y square orbital and dxy orbital lobes are coming in the xy plane. Out of these two, dx square minus y square orbital energy increases more when compared to dxy orbital, because dx square minus y square orbital lobes are exactly lying along the axis where the ligand is approaching towards the center metal ion. So therefore dx square minus y square orbital energy increases more when compared to dxy orbital. Since there is no ligands along the z axis, therefore dz square orbital becomes more stable and its energy decreases when compared to dxy orbital. Similarly, dxz and yz orbital energy also decreases. So this is the crystal pill splitting pattern. So that means dx square minus energy y square minus dx square minus y square orbital energy is more when compared to dxy orbital, and dxy orbital energy is more when compared to dz square orbital, and dz square orbital energy is more when compared to dxz and dyz orbital. Here the crystal pill splitting between the dxy and dz square is represented as delta 1, and dz square and dxy is represented as delta 2, and dxz and dyz and dz square it is represented as delta 3. Here the crystal pill splitting in case of square planar complex, which is represented as delta sp, is equal to delta 1 plus delta 2 plus delta 3, that is equal to delta sp is equal to 1.3 into delta naught. That means always the crystal pill splitting in case of square planar complex is more than the octahedral complex. Okay, from the previous videos or from the previous studies, it is very clear that the delta naught value is always greater than delta t, or delta t is equal to 4/9 of delta naught we have studied. But now if you compare the crystal pill splitting energy or crystal pill splitting with respect to square planar complex, it is very clear that the delta sp is always greater than the delta naught, and which is equal to 1.3 delta naught. Okay. Further, it should be noted that always the crystal pill splitting in case of square planar complex is always greater than the pairing energy. So therefore the square planar complex are generally low spin complexes. So that means since the crystal pill splitting is more, so pairing of electron will takes place in a dxy orbital instead of going to the higher energy dx square minus y square orbital. So that means always in case of square planar complex, the pairing energy is less when compared to the crystal pill splitting. So that is why most of the square planar complexes are diamagnetic in nature. Further, it should be noted that in case of square planar complex of copper 2, nickel 2, cobalt 2, the dz square orbital energy is almost or nearly equal to dz square, the dz square orbital energy is almost equal to dxz and yz orbital. So that means if you compare the energy of the dz square orbital in case of square planar complex of copper 2, nickel 2 and cobalt 2, the dz square orbital energy is further less. That means it is more stable. So that means the dz square orbital energy is almost nearly equal to dxz and dyz orbital. Similarly, if you consider the tetrachloroplatinate 2, in this complex ion or in this complex, the dz square orbital is less or lower than the energy of the dxz and dyz orbital. So that means if you consider tetrachloroplatinate 2 ion in this complex ion, if you compare the dz square orbital, it further decreases when compared to dxz and yz orbitals. So that means the dz square orbital energy further decreases in case of tetrachloroplatinate. So that means it is a perfect square planar complex. So okay. So square planar complexes are generally formed by D8 ions. Okay. The square planar complexes are formed by D8 ions with strong field ligands. That means any metal ion with a D8 configuration, that means 8 electrons in a d orbitals with a strong field ligand will form the square planar complex. For example, tetracyanonickelate 2 ion is the best example for the square planar complex. Further, the complexes, that means almost all complexes of platinum 2 and auric 3, that means gold 3 complexes are square planar, including those with weak field ligands such as halide ions. Further, the square planar complex can also be formed by D4 ions with weak field ligands. Here, the dz square orbital is having only one electron. So that means in what condition or which type of metal ions are going to give the square planar complexes? For that question, the D8 ions, the metal ions with 8 d electrons with strong field ligands, generally they will go for the, or generally they will result in the formation of square planar complex. The best example is tetracyanonickelate 2 ion. Similarly, all the complexes of platinum 2 and auric 3, that means gold 3 complexes are square planar. Further, the square planar complex can be obtained with the D4 ion with weak field ligand. That means in such cases what will happen? The fourth electron will go to the dz square orbitals. So that means here the dz square orbital contains only one electron in a D4 case with weak field ligand. So this is how thus we can explain the crystal pill splitting in case of square planar complexes. So that means in case of octahedral complex, it will split into T2G and EZ set, whereas in case of square planar complex, it will split into dx square minus y square, dxy, dz square and dxz and dyz orbital. In exam, if they ask you to write an explanation or explain crystal field theory with reference to square planar complex, you have to write this diagram. Okay, it should contain octahedral field as well as square planar field. So that means it will clearly indicate how the d orbitals are going to split into different sets of orbital having different energy. Okay, thank you very much.